Hey, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to go offline, put the music back on so that we can all share the message. So if you've joined, do well to share the message. My name is Eric Amwakwa Boadu, and it's African Art Talks with Eric, where we bring you educative news. We promote international artists from Africa and make sure that we tell our story as well. So I'm just going to go back to put the music on, and I would love you to share the video to everyone from the north, south, east, and west. Share the video, let it reach wide, because the person that we've got today is an international watercolor artist. So see you soon. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back. For those of you who've joined me, just say a big hello to me, and I will give you a good shout out back and let me know where you've actually tuned in from. And as usual, I'm so happy to come your way this Saturday afternoon, talking about everything to do with African art, telling our story from our own point of view, and making sure that we bring the best to you. So this afternoon, I have got a few people who've joined me. Let me give you a few shout out to those who have joined. And do well to just comment in the comment box so that I can know exactly who I am speaking to. And I'll be more than happy to also read your comments when you actually put them in there. And I'll be more than happy to make you well known as well. As we normally do, Efwa Esabia Asare, good to have you on here. I'm so privileged to have you on here. And I thank you for joining in here this afternoon. So it might be evening where you are. It might be the morning where you are. It might be the afternoon where you are. But here in London, it's around 4 p.m. I know in Ghana, it's around 3 p.m. as well. Anybody else that's joined, just say hello in there. And we are here to bring you the best of Africa. Every Saturday, 4 p.m. UK time, I do my best to bring you international artists from Africa who's actually broken through to the international world, telling their story. And that's exactly what I do. So today is no exception. And today I'm going to bring you somebody who is very well known around the world of art, but from an African perspective. As we usually do, I would like to share a bit on the African art in terms of educating us on what African art is all about. Richard Mensah, I'm so happy that you've also joined. Richard is a really good colleague of mine, and he will be joining me soon in one of these live shows as well. Today, we are also going back to our teaching on the Adikra symbols, making sure that we are well versed in what our Adikra symbols are all about. So our Adikra symbols are symbols from Ghana, the Akan tribe of Ghana. And these symbols, as I said last week, were actually designed by Ken Nana Kwegyir Aggrey Adinkra. He did it from 1810 to about 1820. That is when he reigned, and he was king in the German district of Ghana. It's part of the Akanda Bono region of Ghana. So the Bono people are very well versed in the Adinkra symbols. And today I'd like us to take one of the symbols, as we did for last week, where we studied about Jinyame. Today we are going to take another one, and today's one is called Sankofa. Sankofa, translated in the English language, go back for it. Go back for it. So Sankofa is quite well known around the world. And coincidentally, this one has two symbols, but they mean the same thing. The top one is a bird turning its back, a head backwards, with an egg in its mouth. And then the second one is like it's shaped like a heart shape, basically, and it's also twined as well. And Sankofa in tree means, san means go back or return, fa means get it or fetch it. So Sankofa, it means return to fetch it, if you translate it very literally. And I'm so happy to talk about this symbol because it talks about the fact that we should look back at history and take back what is good from history in order for our future to be bright. If we learn from something from our history that will enhance our future, that is good. There is a proverb in the Akan language that says that so free wenchi ekofa esan kofa yenchi. Yeah, so we refi. Let me say it again. So we refi. Now we san wechi kofa yenchi, and it translates to mean that it is not wrong to look back for that which you have forgotten. So it is not wrong to go back for that which you have forgotten. So anything that is good for your society, anything that is good for your culture, anything that is good for yourselves, if you go back to history or your tradition and you learn from it and start using it or start applying it to your life, it is not a bad thing at all. It's a good thing. So that is what Sankofa means. And let me kindly say hello to a few more people who've joined me. I've got my beloved wife, Marie, who's joined, who says, good afternoon, beloveds. And I've also got Ekua Boachma Deborah, my cousin, who's joined as well. And then Rohan Lawrence, who has also joined. So thank you all for joining. Just comment in the comment box and I will pick up your comments and pin them as we go along. I am going to introduce the person for today. But before I do so, I'd like you to just have a look at his paintings. He is in the person of, and I'm going to show his details right here, Jonathan Kwegyir Aggrey. Jonathan has been a really good friend of mine. From 2011, I got to know Jonathan through this medium that we're using, Facebook. And immediately I fell in love with his artworks. I fell in love with his commitment, how he actually does his art. And I visited Ghana in 2014 and I visited him personally. I got to his home. We bonded straight away because he's such a humble soul. So I got to his house. I got to get to his studio. And actually, he gave me a gift which I will never forget. He gave me one of his paintings, which I've still got. Jonathan has done so well, and I'll let him tell us about himself. But in the meantime, let me play you a video of Jonathan so that we know who Jonathan really is. Jonathan in action. That is so beautiful, guys. That is so beautiful. And I'm so glad that you saw a piece of what Jonathan can do. So without much ado, everybody, I want you to put your hands together as we invite Jonathan Kwegyir Aggrey. Hi, Jonathan. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Good, 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 good. Jonathan, it's good to see you. In the local language. And I thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
That's right. Good, 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 good. I'm so glad that you've joined me for this show. And Jonathan is coming all the way from Ghana, Ghana representing right here. Let us make Jonathan so welcome. And feel free to type in your questions. Let me know your comments so that I can actually pin them here. Right, let's see. So great. I am going to share onto another platform before we actually start interviewing Jonathan, just to make sure that I have got the comments coming in right now. Okay, so I've switched my platform to my artist page. That allows everyone to be able to comment. That allows me to see the comments coming in. So everybody, if you have a comment, just write it right here so that I can actually pin them. And let's test it. So Marie, if you're on, type a comment and let me see what's happening right now. So Jonathan, tell me all about yourself and how did it all begin as an artist? How did it all begin?
Well, my name is Jonathan Kwegyir Aggrey. I'm the ninth child among my siblings, which is the last born. And I'm the only artist among them.
Okay.
So in 1984, when I was
Wow.
born in Ashaiman, a sub of Accra.
Yes.
So I grew up there. I had my education at Ashaman Presbyterian School. And after, I went to Ashaman Secondary School. So by the age of 5 to 10, uh, I discovered that I wanted to do art. So I spoke with my dad, and he didn't hesitate to take me to a roadside artist that I can be going to uh, practice over there as a roadside artist, or let's say commercial artist in those days. So I was doing it part time with my studies until I completed junior secondary school. And then when I moved to the senior secondary school, that is where I started visual art formally. And then from there, I moved to Accra to stay with my uncle, Mr. Richard Aquarison, who was very supportive to my creative career from the beginning. So after secondary school, I moved to him to stay in Accra. Then I had a chance to study with Mr. Mensah. And aside that, doing my studies with Mensah of Freehand Studios, then I had online friends, a certain woman by name Nancy Howie in US, who has a studio called Triple Jump Studio. And also I had a friend who was a watercolorist in Canada, Anne. Her name is Anne. And these people, together with my master here, Mr. Enoch Yamensa, they started guiding me and assisting me to polish my art. So I was getting a lot of lessons both locally and internationally. So all I needed to do is to keep learning and keep practicing. So after sometime I got admission to University of Education. So that is where I did my first degree, Bachelor of Arts and Art Education. So it was during my university days, second year level 200 first semester was when I had a chance to travel to Norway to participate in an arts festival in Troydheim. So when I came back, I was still doing my watercolor art and still practicing with the watercolors. So later that same year, uh, the International Watercolor Society, abbreviation IWS, has just started uh, to accept new members into the Watercolor Society. That was in Turkey. So it was then that I got invited by Atono Dogan.
Yes,
He is the founder and the president of IWS. So
that's right.
he invited me to Turkey, and they sponsored the trip. So I was very privileged. So that was my second trip I had
So the
outside
first one was to, if you can remind us, the first travel was to where? Was it
to Norway.
to
Norway.
Norway was your first? Okay.
Yes, yeah.
So
That
I
was in
mean,
Troydheim.
you went straight into the cold, isn't it? Your very first
Yes, yeah,
travel,
and that was my first time also experiencing
traveling
the
out of
cold.
Ghana.
There's exactly the snow time. That was
Oh my
around
goodness.
February, so it was quite good for me. And first time experiencing snow. So,
Yes,
but
yes, yes.
I was okay with it. I was okay with it.
I mean,
Yeah.
for the exposure and for the love of art, definitely yes, it was worth going into
Yes.
the cold for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I remember we were using the spray can to do some sign writings, and
Outside, yes.
in fact with the gloves it's still
Okay.
difficult pressing the can to
Yes.
spray, so it was quite good.
It
Quite
would be
cool.
quite awkward. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, and then you said that your second visit was a chance to where?
To
Turkey.
Turkey. Yeah, that
Okay.
was in Izmir.
All right.
Yeah, so I met with the minister of Izmir.
Okay.
There's so many people. IWS really opened me up to a lot of the international watercolorists. I've been, you know, looking up to them. I had a
Yeah,
chance to now meet with them personally
that's
and to
right.
have a good relation with them, and then to also study some of their works and to know to have a first-hand experience of
So,
the
so
journey.
if I may ask, what actually, how did you get into the International Watercolor Society? Who introduced you
Well,
to it?
well, uh, it was Atano Dogan, who was actually the name is Atano Dwan, but the spelling
Okay,
is different. So he had an online art competition for new international watercolor artists around the world.
that's right.
So he saw my work that a friend of he saw my work that a friend recommended a page to me that I should also post my work to participate in this international online contest. So when
Ah,
I posted my work, then Atana Duan realized that I'm coming from Africa, and mine is different. So
that's
he
right.
decided that I joined the jury uh, panel rather. So I
Okay.
was moved from the contest to join the
So I think Jonathan's line has broken a little bit, but what he was saying was that he was moved from the panel, and I'll get Jonathan to join as soon as he is ready. We'll just carry on with that. But Jonathan was saying that he was moved from being a participant, a contestant, into becoming one of the panel members. Now bring Jonathan back. Jonathan, can you move a bit to the center if you don't mind?
well, Yes.
That's it. Much better. Much better.
Yeah.
Much better. So you were saying that you were moved from being a contestant straight to
And
being on the panel.
the jury, yeah. So the juries were now to travel to Turkey, which is in Izmir.
Okay.
So they sponsored the trip that I also come as a jury for the opening and the award ceremony.
Wow.
So that was when I had the second chance to travel to abroad,
Yes.
through the yeah. So that is how I became a member and also the country representative for Ghana. And that
That's
time,
right.
most Africans didn't have any IWS branches, so I was also representing Africa as a whole in the
Yes.
International Watercolour Society. Yeah.
So that's no mean achievement at all, because your very first kind of international engagement with the IWS, you represented Africa as a whole.
As a whole, yes,
That
yes,
is
because I
amazing.
was the only one. I was the only one
From
from this
Africa.
continent, Africa.
How did it make you feel? I mean, at that early stage of your career?
Yeah, I felt very happy, and also I saw it that it's a big challenge for me, because I have to work a lot to meet
To
up,
prove.
because representing and Africa as a whole is a huge task on me. So I needed to work
Definitely.
hard and to keep pushing
And I think Jonathan was saying that he needed to work hard and push simply because he represents Africa at that stage. As soon as Jonathan's line kicks in a bit better, he will carry on with the story. I think he is coming back. He's going to come back very shortly. But Jonathan was saying that he represented Africa at that early age. And Jonathan is back. Jonathan, can you tell us? Let's move more into your artworks, because I think it's really good what you've been able to do. You didn't disappoint Africa at all. Your
no
work
no no
is
no
so
no.
your work is so different. Your work is so unique. You know, you don't use a lot of these, and I'll put a few of them on screen so that people will know what we're talking about, because your work doesn't use the normal primary colors that we are used to. So that's Jonathan in his, the first one is one of his paintings. Second one is him actually at work in his studio. Can you talk us through it?
Yes, the first one on the left was actually the normal sized watercolor paper, 56 by
Okay,
76. And at that time, it was difficult getting that size of paper. And so I traveled and I started bringing them in. And
oh,
then it was quite challenging completing a size like that. But with constant practice over the years, the picture on the right was when I've started to do a large size watercolor work, which it is very even difficult getting the size of that paper. But
that's right.
uh, I was able to challenge myself from that point that no, I needed, since I'm representing Africa, I have to always raise the bar higher, so that the
Yes,
younger generation looking up to me will know that watercolor is not just something on a small paper, but rather you can go bigger and bigger. So the picture on the right was actually when I started doing large scale watercolor works, and the scenes are from Elmina fishing bay.
that's right.
Yeah.
Now that's amazing, because I mean, I know that most of your works, and I'll show the second one. Second one is also about the fishing bay and fishermen and boats and all that. But the captivating thing that I can recognize is the element of motion, and the ambience can be felt even from here. You can see that there are mists coming from the canoe. Can you express more on why you chose to do the fishing bay, fishermen, everything centered around the sea? I mean, are you from Cape Coast or something?
Yes, my dad is from the central region, so I'm
Okay,
from Anumabo, and also I've lived all my life in the southern part of Ghana, which is along the coast.
no
So my
wonder.
education is in Winneba. I grew up in Tema, and my dad is from Anumabo. So most of the time the sea has been always been close to me. Also, I visit Jamestown a lot. So in I realized that landscape, you need a lot of emotions, because it is unreal to see a landscape without an atmosphere.
Yes,
Because even on a normal day, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, the mist is what we lived in from a distance.
that's
There
right.
is no way the mist is not there. The sky is there all the time with us. So when you are painting, you
Yes,
need to capture all those elements in order to make your work more attractive and true to nature,
that's
that
right.
people can feel. Even some people don't know much about Ghana until when they started seeing my paintings. It's kind of as if they have been there before. And
Before,
the
yes.
picture on the right was what was actually collected by the Qingdao Art Museum in China. That was in 2014.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
But when you look at the picture on the left-hand side, how did you capture that aerial perspective? Was it from
Uh,
imagination?
yes, it's a combination of imagination and a different photo altogether. I saw just a random photo,
That's
but
right.
I realized that most of the time I captured the boat on a normal eye level. So I decided
Okay.
that I needed something more from the bird eye view. So with the help of some photographs and imagination also, I was able
Yes.
to put that particular painting together. So I believe more in the power of the imagination, because it is more wider and deeper than just a mere photograph
That's right.
that you want to paint from. So when I'm to paint, I think more deeper and see
Okay.
how best I can even visualize what other elements to add to make this painting even more better, so that when people are looking at it, it challenges their mind.
True. True. That's very, very true. And you've
Yeah.
captured it very beautifully. Let me now show the last one. This is also along the coastal line. Where particularly in Ghana is this one? It looks so.
Then,
Now you've started introducing the human figure into it, isn't it?
yes, the left one was from Jamestown,
Okay.
in the early days of Jamestown, when I started visiting the place. So I realized that people actually live there, close to the beach. They have gotten their settlement also there. So I realized that I needed to also infuse the human activities
Yes.
also there. So when I took the pictures and the sketches, I have to rearrange them to suit the kind of story I want to tell of a Jamestown.
That's right.
And the right one is a scene from Cape Coast. Yeah, when you are
Okay.
standing from the castle point, and then looking towards the hill side. So that was from Cape Coast. You know,
And were these painted from live or
I usually do the live sketches and also
okay
take some photos. Then when I get to the studio, I'm able to put all together. So I
all
work
together?
from the live sketches, the photo reference, and also my imagination to what I felt when I went to the site there, you know, into the work.
That's
Other
right.
than that, your painting will not be able to tell the actual story you want your viewers to see.
So, I mean, these are breathtaking paintings, and well done for capturing Ghana in such a manner. Now, the question is, have you always been a watercolorist? Because I remember that you said you had a mentor, you actually went for apprenticeship and all that. Were you always painting in watercolor, or did you just choose that when you grew up?
Um, for me, painting naturally came to me. How to paint
Okay.
anything, whether with oil, whether with drawing, whether acrylic, whatever
Yes.
it is, painting naturally came to me. But watercolor is something that I never had any experience with of whatsoever.
Yes.
I even remember at a point I was using white paint of a watercolor to even mix the watercolor paint as if I'm doing acrylic painting or oil. So that is to show you that I was totally uh, amateur in watercolor. I actually
Right.
didn't know anything of whatsoever called watercolor
Okay.
until when I went to my master, Mensah,
Yes.
when he was introducing me through the painting process and educating me about art. We were to start with. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I think your video has gone off.
My video is off, yeah.
But that's okay. You can still talk.
Okay, so I realized that he was taking me through the process, one medium at a time.
Okay.
But when it started with watercolor, he told me that, well, watercolor is a good medium. If you understand it, you can be doing it and making some money out of it. It's easy to sell. You don't need so much before you can do watercolor. You can do it small and all of that. So
Yeah.
when he told me all of that about watercolor, I
So I think Jonathan's internet is playing up, but we'll try and get Jonathan back to carry on with his story.
artist I saw one of his work was On Kim Song, a
Okay.
Singaporean watercolorist. So I went to his page and I was amazed in how he was able to use watercolor to capture the landscapes of
That's right.
Singapore. So when I went to his page, he also have other links to other
Yeah.
artists he has featured on his page, and one of them was Guan Wenjing, the famous Chinese watercolorist. So
Okay.
I was so fascinated by Guan Wenjing's painting that I said to myself that I need to challenge myself very, very well with this watercolor. So throughout my studies with my mentor, Mensah, I wasn't really bothered again with oils, acrylic. I dropped almost everything until I decided that I'm going to master watercolor before I will continue with any other medium. And so far, so great with watercolor
So
that
this
now
this
I don't
actually
feel
kind of on the
like saying,
screen. There's a question by Richard Mensah, a very good friend of mine, a fellow artist whom I'll be having on the show very shortly. And his question is that, do you paint in any other media apart from watercolor? And what attracted you to watercolor, but not say oil, acrylic, etc.? So I think you are answering his question in a way, isn't it?
yes, as I said earlier on, the watercolor, it was a challenge. I decided to stick to it, master it before I'll move to any medium. And I realized that water can watercolor can take the rest of your life, and
Oh,
you
yes.
may still not even master everything in it. So I'm beginning to get to a point that now when I move to my new studio, I am going to be doing the oils and the acrylics and those mediums I've missed. I'm going to get back to it because the watercolor has given me quite a solid foundation that I need to carry on with. And more importantly, it's not about what you paint with, it's how you paint. It
It's
doesn't
how you
matter
paint,
whether
isn't it? Jonathan, if
it's
you
how
don't
you
mind, can you
paint.
turn back your camera on so that we can show your face? So whilst Jonathan is turning his camera back on, I'd like to show you one more of his paintings on the beach side, and that is this one, whereby it's so much crisp, as so detailed. I mean, look at the one on the right-hand side, for instance. The number of people that he has actually captured in there is from the perspective, it looks so brilliant, and the color scheme is not just over the top. Everything is so balanced. Everything is in its right proportion. The fact that he's able to capture the mist, you can tell that people are going to their boats to catch their fish. He tells a full story from what I can gather right here. And that is one thing that is so brilliant about Jonathan's work. It's not your usual African type of painting. And Jonathan is doing brilliantly. And then Jonathan has also moved into painting figures. So this one, for instance, and whilst we wait for him to join on, I'll tell a bit of a story about this one. When you go to Ghana, this is exactly what we do. Women plait each other's hair, and Jonathan has captured it right here. I'll bring him back on whilst he actually settles in. So, Jonathan, I'm going to remove this one. As you can see on screen, there's another one where you are now painting about human figures and in more detail. And can you tell us why you painted these ones?
Well, my favorite subject are actually figure work and landscape. So,
Oh, okay.
yes, these are my two main favorite subjects because the human figure is something I've studied over a long time now, and I'm
Yes,
always fascinated about the human figure. So
that's right.
basically, it doesn't really surprise me much painting figures in watercolor. It is part of what I do. So it's basically landscape and figurative of work. And as you can see, this is a larger version of the fisherman's
Of
wife
the
that
Fisherman's
I was
Wife.
commissioned. Yes,
That is
that
an
I was
amazing one.
commissioned.
I'll show it on
Yeah.
screen, and I'll let you also show it behind you as well. I've got a picture of it right here. People want to see it. So these two talk about the Fisherman's Wife. You've got two different versions of them.
Yes.
And what
I
made
realized.
you start studying the Fisherman's Wives?
Oh, usually when I go to the 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 fishing bay area, whether in Jamestown, Elmina, Jamestown, Winneba, the women are there. They are part of
They are part of the whole setup, isn't
the
it?
road setup and all of that. So
That's
I
right.
decided that I will also focused more into their lives, capturing their expressions and emotions and all of that. So I have Fisherman's Wife series, and I also have the fisherman, the retired fisherman series as well. So it's not just only the women. I have also for
For
the
the men
men
as well.
as
No,
well.
this is
Yes.
amazing because I mean I remember when I was growing up and I tried watercolor for the first time. I really feel very miserably. It's not a medium that you can just pick it up and use. There's a
No,
technique.
no, 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 not at all.
So
Nobody
yeah,
master
so
watercolor
I
in
stuck to
first
my
attempt.
acrylic, and that is what I do best.
Yes. Nobody actually attempts watercolor and be successful at first attempt. It's never
True.
not I've never heard. Yeah. You have to, go through the
The
process. There's
practice,
no
the
shortcut.
process.
You have to learn the tools well. You have to learn
Okay.
about even the paper itself, the
Yes.
material. It is something you actually have to study and understand, even to the point that when you drop a water on the paper, you should be able to know what is going to happen.
What is going to happen? So, guys, if
Yes.
you're watching us, I would like us to take a few lessons from Jonathan. What he's saying is that to be a good watercolorist, it takes commitment. You need to be able to dedicate yourself to practice over and over again to the extent that if you drop the paint from your brush and it hits that watercolor paper, you need to know how it's going to behave so that you are able to spread it accordingly. And that's one thing that I want us to learn from Jonathan because he's been dedicated to this course since I've known him, watercolor, and he's getting better and better at it. There is a comment from Nana Fremah which says, you're doing an amazing work. And then another comment
Thank
from
you.
Patrick William Dodu, who graced my first episode. Patrick is saying that you are doing great and you are great pride for Ghana.
Thank you, thank you.
I know you know Patrick, so there you go.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah. We were in the University of Education together.
Oh, you were in
He
the
was
same
ahead
university.
of me 1 year. Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. That's interesting. So now let's move to one of this one. We're still talking about figures, but this one more looks abstract and much more detailed in a sense. And I love these two pieces a lot. Can you tell us why you painted these?
The one on the left was it's called Asasiya. It was I hardly distort my figures because I don't really like abstract works.
Okay. So Jonathan was saying that he hardly distorts his figures because he doesn't really like abstract. But in this case, he has painted an abstract painting called Asasiya. And the way he's actually captured it so nicely with watercolor is breathtaking. Because normally watercolor, I see a lot of people doing landscape. But Jonathan has been able to produce two powerful figures. I can hear you now. So if you can carry on, I was saying that you've been able to capture the human figure very powerfully. A lot of people use watercolor to do landscape, but you have developed the skill so much so that you are able to capture the human figure with watercolor.
Yes, as I said, my main area of interest is figure and landscape. So I've been able to study the human figure for a long time now. So I myself, I'm not really so surprised doing figures in watercolor,
Right.
because that's what I've been doing.
You've been studying all these years.
Yes. So the one on the left is called Asasiya, and I hardly distort my figures in any abstract way. So for this particular concept, Asasiya is the earth goddess that you cannot actually see who it is or who she is per se in a nutshell. So I decided that since it is a goddess, I have to find a way to represent her. Also, it talks about women. This same concept also talks about women, because you cannot know all about women.
That's right.
You see them, yes. So and then the symbols, the Dinkra symbols, that particular one is called Asasiyedru. It means the word is heavy.
It's heavy.
So yes. So talking about Asasiya, and we have a symbol that represents the earth, which is Asasiyedru, a Dinkra symbol.
Yes.
Why don't I also infuse it into the background to complete the story? So
that's right.
This particular artwork is something so dear to me that I don't even show it so much that I want to sell it or for whatever reason. I have people who have shown it, but it is something that I don't even want to talk about selling about it. No, not in any way. So I've always kept it.
All right.
If you can show it.
Let me take it off screen so you can show the original. So that's it. Is that the original?
Yeah, this is the original.
Amazing. So Jonathan is showing us the original painting of Asasiya, which he still got, because he said that he doesn't really want to talk about it a lot. So the question is it because it's more spiritual and it means a lot to you that you've actually painted it for yourself, or what was the target audience?
Yes, everybody, you have something that makes you your being, the human being.
Right.
What makes you? The spirit, the body, the whole
soul. So, that's it.
This particular piece carried a lot. Both
spiritual, more spiritual meaning.
More spiritual. Yes, let me put
that's
it
right.
that way. More spiritual.
That's right.
So I don't want to let it even move away from my collection. No, not
true.
It's like my heritage. It's what makes me the true African that I want to be.
I love that. I love that, because every artist has something that keeps them grounded. Every artist has something that means a lot to them. And Jonathan is saying that this is his one that he keeps for himself. He doesn't want it to leave his collection. So it means that as artists, and I'm talking about the up-and-coming artists, there are sometimes paintings that you do for yourself. Let's say you have a vision that comes to you and you paint it for yourself. It's not every painting that you do that has to leave your collection. There are some
not at all. Not at all.
Yes, and that's what Jonathan has exactly said. Now, guys, before we carry on, if you've got any questions to ask, you can type the questions in there on the comment box, and I'll be more than happy to display them. I'd like as many of us to interact. I'd like us to talk and ask Jonathan all the questions. The maestro is here. Ask him all the questions that you can ask about African art from his perspective, because I'd like us to learn from his perspective. But moving on, we did show a few paintings from Jamestown, and I'm showing bits here. Tell me if it's Jamestown or not. I think it's these ones rather, which are Jamestown paintings. The one on the left-hand side, isn't it?
On the left, yes.
That's right. Now, quite recently, we know the government has demolished Jamestown, or he's in the process of demolishing some parts of Jamestown. You've spent most of your time painting Jamestown, the fishermen, the children, the men, the women, and the activities that go on there. How does it affect you? And how are you going to, let's say, petition to government in terms of how? Because I don't think you are the only artist that paints Jamestown, isn't it? There are a lot of other artists that go there, but you have spent an extensive period of time capturing this specific town in Ghana, a fishing community in Ghana. How does it affect the work that you're doing?
Well, I feel very sorry and very sad for the livelihood that that is missing, because
Yeah,
some people, that is their life. They never had any much experience other than living in that particular settlement, you
that's
know.
right.
And as we artists, we feel more connected to
With the
the ground,
people.
that with the people over there, that hey, this is Jamestown, the heart of,
That's it.
what we really love, So the demolition really worried me a lot, but some people believe that for their own good and their own development. So
Yes.
I hope the government does a good job for the people
For
over
what
there.
they've done. Now, the good thing
Yeah.
is that you've been able to capture these paintings. Are you
Yes.
going to approach the government or a museum or a place where they can keep some of the historic paintings that you've done with regards to that community? Because as artists, we
Yes.
play a good role in capturing history.
Yes. Most of all these collections that I have done, all of them are actually sold. So
Good.
what I have are the pictures, and I'm really happy this is happening whilst I'm still alive.
Alive. Yes.
Because
Yes.
the people would now see the evidence of recording, such incidents, places, and time. They'll be
Yes.
able to actually experience it, that once upon a time this was how Jamestown used to be, and
That's
now
right.
it is no more. It is this, and this artist captured it on record. I know the
Yes.
photographies are there doing.
They are bits. So Jonathan was saying that he knows the photographers are there doing their bits, also capturing the sites, especially Jamestown, which was demolished or is still in the process of being demolished to make way for government projects. But as an artist, he has been able to capture it through art. And that is something that as artists, we should aim to do. As artists, we play a very important role in society, recording history, making sure that we tell our story. So Jonathan has done a lot of paintings about this community called Jamestown in Accra. Now, with the demolition going on, his work will stand the test of time if the government actually captures what he's done and records it as part of history. So I would admonish the government of Ghana to engage artists, because you never know what we do. We never know what we record, what we capture, the part of history that we paint that will be added to the national collection. So I would urge Ghanaians and I'll urge the government of Ghana to engage us as artists to get to capture the history. Things like the Cape Coast Castle, Jamestown, monumental places in Ghana, up north, south, east, and west. We've got a rich culture, we've got a rich history. If we can get all artists to come together and capture this history, it would be great. There are a few questions that are coming, which I'll be reading very soon whilst I try and get Jonathan back again. And one of the questions comes from Ato Maika. Ato is a good friend of mine. Ato says, great interview. Thanks, Ato. Where can I get a piece of this painting? Where can I buy a piece of his work? Jonathan's piece can be bought from his Instagram account, and I'll put his handle right there. So his handle on Instagram is Jonathan_Aggrey_studio. When you get there, you'll be able to get a piece of his work, because I believe his work is wonderful. His work is so professional. He's taken it to another level altogether. And the next question comes from Richard Mensah. Has come back again with a good question. And Richard says, what are the challenges of being an artist in Ghana at the moment? And how do you deal with these challenges and overcome them? Now, I'll reserve this question for Jonathan to answer. Here in the UK, it's quarantine time, and we have spent a lot of time trying to paint as much as we can, because in this period, this is where we have the time to think. We have the time to not just go to work and back on a daily basis, but as artists, be in that creative mode. Luckily for us, we've got Jonathan back, and I'll throw the question to him so that we know how he's dealt with it in Ghana. Jonathan, there's a question for you right there. The first question was to do with how they can get copies of your painting, and I have put your Instagram link on the screen. So there was a question by good old friend Otomaika, and Otto says, "Great interview. Where can I buy a piece of his work?"
Oh, thank you. You can personally, at the moment, you have to personally message me, then I can arrange with what I have. But other than that, in Ghana, you can get my works at Artist Alliance Gallery, Nobuki Foundation,
Okay.
Art Gallery.
Okay. So Jonathan is giving us a few galleries where we can get his work. You can also direct message him on Instagram on Jonathan_Aggrey_studio, and you can get his work from there. And as I was saying, in UK, we spend a lot of time painting as artists, and Richard's question directly applies to all of us around the world. In Ghana, I'll let Jonathan answer you when he comes back, but in the UK, the painting behind me, for instance, was painted during lockdown. Richard's question was, what are the challenges of artists in Ghana at the moment? Jonathan is back. I'll let you answer that question. So the question, Jonathan, is from Richard Mensah, and he says, what are the challenges of being an artist in Ghana at the moment? And how do you deal with these challenges and overcome them? Jonathan is gone again. Right. Jonathan, Richard, I'll get your question up when Jonathan comes, but I'll carry on as usual. And then there is Eric Esiedu Ericova, who says that awesome interview. Thank you, Eric. Thank you so much. Just make sure that you share this video. Let it reach far and wide, because what we're trying to do, we've got 3 objectives. Number 1, to promote the artwork of artists in Africa. Number 2, to educate us about our history, our culture, our dance, our music, everything that makes us African. We're going to educate ourselves through art, through this medium. And then thirdly, we would like to tell this African story to the rest of the world. So it is important that we engage ourselves as creative people, as artists, as storytellers, to be able to tell our story. Because the sad thing is that if we don't tell our story, someone else will be telling our story, and they'll tell it wrongly. So it's about time that we use the media of technology. Jonathan is back. Hey, Jonathan, you're back right now.
Yeah,
the question is
not stable, but
I know, that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. The question is, what are the challenges of being an artist in Ghana?
Next time when I go back to Europe, we can have a better one. You know,
definitely, don't worry. The borders will be opening very soon. And I know that by now you'd have traveled about 4 times already.
Yes, yeah.
So Jonathan is all over the place around the world. He's in high demand. Right. So let's try and answer this question before you go. What are the challenges of being an artist in Ghana at the moment, and how do you deal with these challenges and overcome them?
You know, the challenges has always been, you know, the problems of Africa already. But as an artist, it's even more challenging than not being an artist.
True.
But one thing I sincerely believe is that if you are good, your art crosses the borders. So you are not only even working for Ghanaians alone. You are working for the world. So sincerely, sometimes some of the challenges, I don't feel it much, because I am not only just working
confined to Ghana. And I think that's important to know, that as artists, and as African artists to be specific, we should not just confine ourselves to where we are. We should look at the global world.
Yes, yeah. Because
it's a mindset that we should develop.
No boundaries. That has no boundaries. So I don't see why I have to be confirmed that because I'm in Ghana and Ghanaians are not buying artwork. I'll take it outside where they will buy it.
That's
so I hardly feel the challenge.
And the good thing is that technology has made it really easy as well, isn't it?
Yes. If you are very good, you won't have much problem. But it is when your works are not of a certain level that collectors can easily buy, that is when you see more challenges and be complaining. Ghanaians don't like art. Ghanaians don't like this. It is
True.
very, of course, it will be for them. So you always have to work harder and not just look at Ghana alone. Look at beyond the
The rest
limits
of the
of
world.
Ghana. Yeah. Yeah.
Because the good news is that, you know, if your work is good, as you said, the world will come after you. The world
Yes.
will find you if you put yourself out there. My
Yes.
advice to all artists, and especially African artists, is that we should put ourselves out.
Oh, this
Hi guys, sorry about that. In the UK as well, we have a big problem with the internet as well. The weather is not great outside. It's so windy, and therefore we lost connection right there as well. Jonathan, can you continue with what you were saying about the challenges that we have in Africa as a whole and how we can actually overlook them, because now art is global, and therefore we should all just think global and not just local.
Yes, I think you have already summarized the answer. You just have to think global because we know Africa and its problems, some of its problems already. So being an artist even make it more challenging. So
Yes,
what you have to do is to just look beyond your circumstances of where you are in Africa. Just work for the world, and when
that's it.
your work is good, it will come. The collectors will come to you. So it's just like having your studio in Africa, but your market is for the world. But
Yes,
if you confine yourself with the African environment only to patronize your work, then you will experience more challenge,
challenges.
challenges. Yeah. The only thing I can rather see as a challenge being in Africa as an artist here are sometimes the materials, especially for a watercolor artist, because the materials are not available here in most of the art shops. And
That's
sometimes
true.
the ones we find are not the type. So that is even more challenging to me than rather selling of a painting rather.
Yes,
I see the acquisition of the materials even to be more challenging
more challenging.
than even the selling aspect of the work.
So I think yes, we should look into solving that problem, and hopefully we'll talk back door to see how that problem can be resolved. Now, I want us to talk about how you've used your work to break boundaries. I can see a lot of times you are in China, and I'm going to put some pictures on screen whereby you are interacting with your, you can see even school children that you're interacting with, and you're giving speeches in China. You have got your mentors on the right hand side. This is amazing. Can you tell us how you are influencing even kids in China with your artwork?
Oh, thank you, Eric. Well, I'm so overwhelmed looking at these pictures, reflecting back, and all of that. Uh, the one on the left was the first time in China that I was invited by the Qingdao Art Museum, and we
Okay.
were having the opening ceremony. So most of the young Chinese students came with the catalog that has my painting, the page, and they wanted my autograph. Uh,
Wow.
to be signed. Yeah. So I was signing autograph that at a point they have to stop the children coming, but I was ready to
Carry on.
give them more. Yes, because I'm so passionate for my work, and I don't know, but that's about me.
Oh,
I
yes.
just want people to feel more loved around me,
That's
so
right.
I always want to give more. Yeah, and the one in the middle was my second time in China at the Anshan Normal University. I was invited, and then I was to give the opening speech for on behalf of the international artists that were invited, and of course I'm the only African over there, so there was more attention on me. Uh, and that particular trip was organized by my agent, YK Lo, in China. So he was the one that initiated that exhibition in
All
the
right. No,
outside
that's
Normal University.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So the
And
one
the
in the
one on the
center,
left, the right, uh,
the one in the
on the
center,
right,
was it as you said, representing Africa in that, and you are giving a speech on behalf of African artists,
the
basically.
international artist that
International artists, okay.
I think with the Chinese, we were to meet the Chinese
That's right.
artists. If you look at the rest of the pictures, the whole program is to collaborate with the Chinese artists and
Yes.
different international artists to join the Chinese artists to see how best they can promote watercolor in China. Eric, can you hear me? And that was my sister.
But not to worry. Jonathan is back. There is a comment on there. Vida Agri
uh,
says, awesome
that's my
work.
sister.
Is that your sister?
Yeah, she's the seventh born. Yeah, she's the seventh born.
So Richard's question is, do you think that the government of Ghana should provide more support to local artists in order to encourage more artists to stay in the industry and keep some of our valuable work in the country to preserve our culture? Britain and other countries do this. How do we as artists influence politicians to understand the importance of art in our culture, to our culture? This is really important. This is true for us who've lived abroad, we've lived in the UK and other parts of the world, which is that every country you go to, the government preserves their art. When you go to the National Gallery, for instance, you would see artwork dating all the way back from, let's say, as far back as the 14th century, as far back as the 14th century. And you would see artwork preserved over the years. Let's say artwork that are destroyed, for instance, you will still find out that they've actually preserved it. They've worked on it. They've made sure that it stands the test of time. How, as African leaders, how are our African leaders ensuring that we do the same? How are we preserving our history, the rich Ghanaian culture, the rich, let's say, Ghanaian heritage that we've got, our dancing, the kete that we do, the adowa that we dance, our music, our paintings that we've got over the years? How do we ensure that we preserve them over the years? Jonathan is back, and I'll let him answer this question before we round up for today. Jonathan, there's one last question for you, and I think once we take this question, we'll try and round up. The question is from Richard Mensah, and he's saying that, do you think that the government of Ghana should provide more support to local artists in order to encourage more artists to stay in the industry and keep some of our most valuable works in the country to preserve our culture? Now, Britain and other countries do this. How do we as artists influence our constituents to understand the importance of art to our culture? So that's a question from Richard. Can you answer that one?
Yeah, yes, yeah. You know, the government has a role to play, and the artists also have a role to play. So if the two of us come together, then we'll be able to, achieve the common goal we want to achieve. But if one person is not understanding to do his or her part, then it's going to create a problem. So, for example, the government is supposed to provide the basic amenities. For example, build a national museum and be collecting artworks for natural heritage. So you are promoting the artists and also preserving and promoting our culture. For example, in China, the government gave the Shinda Art Museum $2 million, which I am part of the beneficiary. This one is not something I read. I am part of that project that the Chinese government gave $2 million for the art and culture organization ministry to collect artworks from different parts of the world, watercolors, so that China will have the watercolor, art.
That's right.
When it comes to watercolor, and they are going to be generating money from it as a tourist.
So what Jonathan was saying is that the government of China gave an amount of money because they understood the value of art for them to collect artwork from around the world, not just China. So what you're saying that it's not even just China. They collected artwork from around the world.
And this is not something I read. I am part of that project, and I benefited also from that initiative. So if the Ghana government can also have the same mindset that, okay, we are going to also build a gallery or a national museum and be collecting artworks from all over, for example, Africa, so that when tourists comes to Ghana, they will pay some money to have access to see the works the government have invested hugely in collecting those works. That way, you are promoting Ghana, you are promoting Africa, you are promoting your culture, you are promoting the artists. So everybody have their role to play. The artists have their role to play. The government also have their role to play. But if the government doesn't understand why you put such money, then we'll get it wrong all the time. The artist will shout and shout and shout, and nothing will be done. So if the government creates the platform the artists needed, they will also get the support and get even their money back, and we will all be able to promote ourselves. Oh, this network.
My mobile data now because yeah.
Can you hear? What we're going to do is we'll try and round off the program due to the nature of the internet from both ends. But I will try and get you on next week. By next week, our program will be much more better because we have much more favorable condition, and then we can continue with the story. But we'll have this as part one of our interview, and then next week will be part two of it. A good response. Richard says that you've given him a very good response with regards to engaging the government, because there's no, as you said, it's one thing the artists have a good government understanding the role that we play in society.
Thank you very much, Eric. And thank Richard Mensah. Thank you very much.
That's right. That's right. So basically, if someone wants to get hold of your artwork, we will let them know where to get it. If you can tell us again where they can get your artwork. And then because of the internet, we'll have another session next week where you can delve more into the role of your work in, let's say, the world. Because now you've made us know that we shouldn't think just Ghana, we should think global.
Global, yeah. Well, to get my work, you can message me directly, and then I'll see what is available, because the works hardly stays with me, because some has to travel for shows, some has to go to this gallery. I'm not only just working in Ghana here, even though I have galleries representation here, Nobuki Foundation, Artist Alliance, Bed Gallery, and also myself, I have some, but I have to sort every work out. Where does this one go? Where does this one, so if you want a work, you have to actually have to message me so that I can see what
you can
is
arrange.
available that I can arrange. Yes. Other than that, if you walk into any of these galleries in Ghana, and then in China as well, I have my agents there. That if you want a work, and now I have a Canadian gallery, hashtag gallery, who they are representing me now in Canada. So
great.
Basically, if you contact me, then I'll be able to see what is available to sell.
So as you can all tell, Jonathan is in very high demand around the world, and his work sells so quickly. So if you want a piece of his work, message him directly. And I have got his Instagram handle over there, Jonathan_Aggrey_. If you message him, he will let you know what's available and how you can get his work. A comment from a good friend of mine, Kweku Ayakwa Debra, says, "Great interview, Eric. Can't wait to have my painting." Thank you, Senior. Thank you, Senior. So great. Jonathan, I wouldn't keep you for long because of the nature of the internet today, but we really appreciate you coming on. And hopefully next week, Saturday, we'll have you for, let's say, 1 hour where we continue with the interview that we started today. So thank you so much, Jonathan. Thank you. God bless you. And you. Thank you. So that was Jonathan. Jonathan Kwegyir Aggrey is an international artist. He is an international watercolor artist whose work sell from all over the world. He sells from all over the world, and he has done us a favor. He has done us good by coming to share his story about his African art, his story about his painting, and how he is making waves around the world, around the whole world, selling his work, not even just to Ghana, but to the rest of the world, China, Turkey, France, Norway. He's been around the world. This is the power that art has. It can take, so we have to take it very seriously. For myself, thank you so much for joining, even though the internet has not been on our part today. Hopefully, next week we'll have a better reception where we'll be able to talk about everything art. But just before I sign off, I've got these 3 pieces available, and anyone that's interested, just inbox me and I'll let you know how you can have a piece of this. The first one is called the Akan Trumpet Blowers. The second one is, so let's talk a bit about the first one. This depicts our culture, how the Ashantis communicate using horns, and they are wearing this beautiful African cloth. And in the background, you can see markings on there. It's got a Dinkra symbols on there, which I was talking about earlier on before we got Jonathan on. We delved a bit into the Dinkra symbols. The middle one is about a painting that I did for Black Lives Matter, and to actually communicate my displeasure at the killings in the United States at the moment. And then the third one is talking about having love over fear. Now, I painted this during lockdown in the quarantine, where I am depicting love and also communicating safety during this COVID-19 pandemic period season. So if you want a piece of these, just inbox me and I'll let you know how you can get it. I can get it to you in very fine canvas prints or the original, so to speak. So that is it. Do well to all on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining, and God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.